talking about corporate prayer, which is kind of a formal term, and we'll talk about that, or praying as a group. I just thought it was a good idea to pose the question, does God even hear all of us? Can God hear all of us when we pray? And if he can hear all of us, like we can all hear the voices, right? When you're standing up here, we could hear your voices, favorite game, favorite food, least favorite subject. And that's good. But to actually distinguish what was said, well, that takes it to another level. And then to know what was said, but also know, well, who said it, that takes it to an even deeper level. And we can't do that. I can't do that. None of us can do that. Maybe if you practice really hard and you train to distinguish sounds, maybe you could do that for a small group of people, but certainly not a large group of people. Not 100, not 1,000, 1,000,000, 1,000,000,000. You certainly could not do that. But God can do that, or can he? So what does the Bible have to say about that? Because that's important, because if God can't hear all of us and understand what we say and know who says what, then what's the point in praying as a group? Isaiah 65:24, God speaking, he says, "Before they call, I will answer. And while they are still speaking, I will hear." And that's kind of amazing. Who here can read minds? All right, Kip, what am I thinking? Nope. You said you can read minds. What am I thinking? That's not true. I thought about not thinking about anything, but then I thought of something. All right, Lane, what am I thinking? Thinking the same thing. What is it? Okay, David?
Well, I was going to say, which technically is right, that you're thinking about whether or not we're going to guess what you're thinking.
I see what you're saying, but no, that's not it. Blaine, what am I thinking? Thinking about what? Okay, and Scott, your hand was up. What am I thinking? Thinking the same thing.
Mario Party on the Super Nintendo.
I'm not thinking about that. I was actually thinking that I like the color blue. I saw the blue on Kip's shirt. That's my favorite shade of blue, like that tealish color. That I like blue. It's my favorite color. What? What's up?
Do I get a second guess?
Sure, Scott, you can have a second guess. What am I thinking?
Color orange.
No. Now, maybe you can read someone's mind. Like if I'm at home and earlier, Erin, my wife, asked me to move the laundry over, and I'm sitting on the couch and I'm watching YouTube, and Erin comes back later and looks at me. I know what she's thinking. She's thinking of asking me, "Did you move over the laundry?" And I'm thinking, "Oh my gosh, I forgot to move over the laundry." I can be looking at Jaden, and I may know what he's thinking. Maybe, because we've known each other for so long, but not on a regular basis. And certainly not for the rest of you, and certainly not for strangers. But before we even call out to God, he answers us, which is crazy to think about. Like he knows what we're going to ask before we even ask it, or before we even think to ask it. And while we are crying out to him, he hears all of us. And he understands what you're saying. And he knows who you are, that you're the one saying it. We know that God is everywhere. Jeremiah 23 and 24, God says, "Am I only a God nearby, declares the Lord, and not a God who's far away? Who can hide in the secret places so that I cannot see them, declares the Lord? Do I not fill heaven and earth?" So yeah, God is everywhere all at once. I can't be in 2 places at once. I can't be in 3 places at once. You cannot be in 4 places at once. You can't be at school, and at your friend's house, and at your parents' house, and at McDonald's. You can't be in all those places at once. But God can do so much more than that. He can be everywhere at the same time. We don't fully understand that, right? Like that's where faith comes into play. It's hard for us to wrap our minds around. God is everywhere and he hears everything, and he can distinguish everything. And that is because God is not a website.
Yeah.
Say it back. God is not a website. God is not a website that crashes from too many users. I remember I was trying to get tickets for Spider-Man No Way Home. Who's seen Spider-Man No Way Home? You all pretty much know what that is. If you don't know, it's about Spider-Man, and there's like villains from 6 other movies, and Spider-Man from 2 other movies, and they're all in the same movie with the new Spider-Man, and they don't have a way to get home, hence the title No Way Home. And it was like a really big deal. And if you know me, you know I love movies, especially superhero movies. And I like seeing movies first. I don't want spoilers. I don't want to go in the internet's like a broken refrigerator. It's full of spoilers, things that are spoiled for. I don't want spoilers for movies. I like to go to movies the day they come out, the very first showing if I can. I have this paranoid fear that like if I go to a movie that starts an hour after the other movie, someone from this theater, when the movie's over, they're going to run into my theater and be like, yeah, Spider-Man died, y'all. Something like that. I like to see a movie as soon as it comes out because I don't want it to be spoiled. I don't want the story to be spoiled because then I've wasted the opportunity to enjoy the story. So when Spider-Man No Way Home was announced, I searched the internet every day. When are No Way Home tickets going on sale? Next day, when are these tickets on sale? Next day, when can I buy these tickets? I got a date for buying the tickets. And I stayed up. They were coming out at midnight. I stayed up until midnight, and the movie website crashed. It was full of people. Everyone wanted to get these tickets. And I opened up a different movie website. That website was down. I opened up more pages on my laptop, and that was down. I think Erin tried loading it with her phone, and that was down. And every 10 minutes, I kept refreshing and refreshing and refreshing until finally at 4 a.m., I was able to get tickets. We went opening day. I don't know if it was the first showing, but we got the tickets. But God is not a website. God's not going to crash with all of these people talking to him. He can handle it because he's divine. He is so much more than us as people. God hears all of our prayers at the same time and knows who said what.